The Eagles have earned the number 3 seed in the tournament. They are, by virtue of earning that seed, they are awarded a bye in the tournament, and they will play their first game on Friday, March 10th. They await the winner of the Troy versus Appalachian State game in the opening round of the tournament. That game will take place on Wednesday night at 7:30, and by virtue, the Eagles will play their first game on Friday nights at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. So again, Georgia Southern heading into this tournament as number 3 seed. We are now joined by head coach Mark Byington. Coach, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you very much, as always, for joining us on the teleconference. And for members of the media on the call, please press star and the number 1 on your keypad to get in the queue to ask questions for Coach Byington. Coach, before we get to any questions, you earned the number 3 seed and by virtue of a bye, as I mentioned. But what's really been, can you give us kind of a clue as to the journey in getting to that seed before the conference tournament starts?
Well, I could tell you it was extremely hard fought. This is Georgia Southern in my 3rd year in the league, and I feel like the league has never been better. And every team has good players and is well coached, and to win, even a couple games in this league is hard, but to win 7 I think is really hard. And so I'm proud of what we've done. And like any coach, I'm sure you're going to interview this time of year. There's 1 or 2 games they'd like to have back, and maybe things could change differently. But to finish 3rd with all these other good teams is something we're proud of.
Well, Coach, you obviously do not know the opponent yet. You're preparing for 2 of them right now, Troy and Appalachian State. But can you give us a sense of, if you play either team, just a preview of that game that you'll have on Friday night?
Well, we split. We played each of them twice this year, and we split. We won both of our home games. We lost both of them on the road. And the Troy game was a little bit crazy. They had us down 22 points, and we came back within 1 point and had a chance there. And App State, was a highly competitive game in Boone the last time we played them, and they pulled away. And Griff and Kenny really hurt us that game. So both of them have their own challenges. I think the one thing that's kind of similar with both teams is they have some really talented players. You're seeing a couple guys with the all-conference honors and even some guys who didn't get those honors. They have really good players, and I can tell you as a coach, when you have good players, it makes things easier.
That's very true, Coach. And 2 of your student athletes did, as you mentioned, make the All-Sun Belt team. We'll start with Tukey Brown, who was the reigning freshman of the year but was named a first-team All-Sun Belt. For those that haven't watched your team this year, can you give us a sense of just what he brings to your team this season?
Well, if we're compared to a car, Tukey's the engine. He's the one who gets us going and makes a lot of things happen up there on the court. And he's extremely competitive, has great drive. And this year he came out of his shell and was a much better leader, much more vocal, tried to, influence the way he thinks about the game and his competitiveness on other guys. And, I thought it really helped us out. And he's just scratching the surface. He's so good right now, but I watch him grow and get better every day in practice because he works hard, and you're seeing it in games. And to be in this league only 2 years and be first-team all-conference back-to-back years is pretty impressive.
And, Coach, then moving on to your second all-conference first-team selection was Ike Smith. Same question for him. What has he brought to your team this season?
Well, since the season ended last year, when Ike was a freshman, his work ethic was second to none. And he really wants to be a good basketball player. He wants to be coached hard. He works on his game all the time. He thinks about basketball constantly. Well, you see kind of his efforts being rewarded, leading the league in scoring and shot 50%. I think that's the impressive thing is he's not a guy who takes a lot of shots who doesn't make who is a volume guy who's got to take 20 shots to get 20 points. He's very effective. He's shooting from all over the court, and and he's another guy. I mean, Ike's only 19 years old, and he's a young sophomore, and where he's going to go and his drive and work ethic, I'm excited to see where it's going to go. It's fun to coach him because he challenges you. He wants to get better, and guys that are like him that just love basketball and want to get better. I mean, they're just so much fun to be around and so much fun to coach.
Well, Coach, now looking ahead to the tournament, you've been in the position before where you've had a bye in the Sun Belt tournament, a little bit different format this year with how the byes work out. But how does that help your team in preparation when you get an extra day or two of rest before traveling down to New Orleans?
Well, we need the rest. And, like every team, we're a little banged up. I thought we were fatigued and lacked some energy the last couple of weeks. And we've had, 5 of our last 7 games are on the road, so we've done a lot of traveling. So I feel like we need the rest. And, as a coach, you're worried about everything. And I worry about the fact that on Friday, no matter what, we're going to play a team, that's won at least 2 straight games. And, it's been played in the arena and has some comfort there and has some confidence. So I think this year in the Sun Belt tournament is going to be really challenging for the teams opening up on Friday because you're going to play teams that have already had success there. So could be some upsets or whatever you call upsets in this league. I'm not sure. But, it's going to be really hard, hard fought for those guys on Wednesday, and I know it's going to be hard on Friday.